Welcome to the Blackout Show, presented by the Guillen Grid, a show about the Chicago White Sox baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll debate what's working and what's not on the Southside of Chicago. It's old school versus new school baseball. And most importantly, we're keeping all the receipts.
Yo, what is up, everybody? And it's me and Gonzo. With me is my one and only Jay. Jay, we are joined by a good friend of the show, Deetch. Welcome to the Blackout Show. And if for those of our crowd, our audience that we love, do not know where to find Deetch, Deetch is a part of the Southside Boys podcast. Excuse me. It's Monday, Deetch. I'm still kind of. I've had a rough Monday, so thanks for joining us, brother. Glad to have you with us. And just as we start the show, man, let's talk a little bit about the good, because lately we saw last week that that we faced both the Tigers and the Royals had a rough week of division opponents, but the Savannah Bananas took over guaranteed rate field in Chicago this past weekend. And we saw some Southside legends. Deetch, I'll let you take it away. Let me know what your favorite moments was of that weekend.
Of the Savannah Bananas weekend?
Yes.
I really liked when they brought out both Burley and Przinski. I just thought that was cool. Some people think Jerry has issues with AJ because of comments he's made or whatever. It's nice that things can be set aside and they still let him participate, because who wouldn't want to see Mark Burley pitch to Przinski? I can say out of the 2 days, it definitely probably sucked on, what was it, Saturday when it stormed during the game. So there was, I don't know how long of a delay I saw, but I mean, to see that stadium bumping impact like that in the first time in a while was definitely cool. Obviously, it wasn't the White Sox, but it's a cool concept and definitely gets, I'm sure, younger kids quite excited about baseball, which will help grow the game inevitably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially, considering the fact of, the Sox haven't, I mean, granted, there's been some sparks in this season, but for for that whole, or a good part of that first half of the season, it was a struggle and turnout was low. So you bring an uprising audience of a different type of entertainment, like the Bananas, and they sold out over the weekend. And I know Jerry's probably not complaining. I don't know the breakdown of the finances of who took profit from what, because I know, I forgot what the guy's name of, or that created the Bananas, but I saw today actually in an interview that he mentioned how he could have easily monetized, I would say the hell out of it, but he could easily raise prices and everything else, but he just doesn't, because for him it's not about money, it's for growing the, I won't say standard of entertainment, but the idea of his imagination of what he's trying to build. So all the power to him. It's helping not only himself, but the game as a whole. Justin, talk to me, man. You love Bananas, right?
See, there we go with that. See, I'm gonna let you guys know, if I wasn't black, he wouldn't have said that. But no, I actually, I'm an old school baseball guy, but I do love the Bananas. I absolutely love what they're doing because if you played the game of baseball, you know how hard it is and how much anxiety a player feels just by standing on the field. When you watch those guys entertain, because that's what it is, it's entertainment. Um, you watch people have fun playing the game of baseball because sometimes this game isn't fun. Like as White Sox fans, the last 18 months haven't been fun for us. So even though people say it's like a circus or whatever, I mean that's what we need. We need how could I say something refreshing. That's what, and a lot of the old heads that I actually agree in large part about the game of baseball with, they hate the Bananas because they don't like the dancing. You know, they don't like the music, all of the histrionics that make the Savannah Bananas good. Baseball traditionalists don't like it, and I mean, I I hope it's here to stay. To be honest with you, because you guys brought it up earlier with Konerko and Mark Burley. When was the last time we was going to see them step foot in guaranteed rate with their jersey tucked in, with a glove in their hand, with a bat in their hand? Like, I mean, sure, Paulie dug into the batter's box, got a huge fucking ovation just to ground out 6-3, and that could have been somebody's highlight of the weekend. Like all of those parents that are taking their kids to watch basically Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey actually had their nostalgia button pressed watching Paul Konerko ground out to shortstop, watching Mark Burley deliver pitches to AJ Brzezinski. Like once the Bananas realized that you could you could tap into baseball nostalgia while visiting these stadiums, they're winning. Because no matter what team that allows them to use the venue, obviously they're selling tickets because we wasn't going to get no tickets this year. I'm looking, me, you, and Gonzo Deetch, we had no shot at going to the Bananas game this weekend. No shot. We had to buy those tickets 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like this is an event that baseball purists are trying to poo-poo on, and they brought it to my own backyard this weekend. My favorite part was at the end when they were fucking dancing at home plate, and at the very end we see Ozzie Guillen Jr. like he's at Ozzie Guillen Sr. I should say. We see Senior CEO fucking dancing like he's one of the players, and then had the audacity to say he's gonna play shortstop next time they slide to the Southside. What? That's the type of environment they bring. So all in all, I enjoyed it, and it was fun for me watching Paulie, step in the batter's box. Obviously, all the stuff. I follow AJ on social media or whatever, but I mean, it was just cool to see those, and a lot of Sox fans had a good time. So I'm glad the fan base enjoyed them while they stayed for this weekend. So I like it. Hopefully, it's some more of that.
Yeah, I was caught off guard when I saw all the former Sox guys participating with AJ, Paulie, gosh, you name them, man. They were there. Burley was there. Especially after, the statue weekend with Bobby and all. I thought that was all we were going to see from them for the, the rest of this season and probably not till next year. But the fact that they snuck in there, and that's just awesome for city of Chicago, especially with us Sox fans. But I'm not sure you guys saw the picture, the guy in the stilts. I think that was probably my favorite part watching it. A lot of sneaky stuff in there. But before we move on, do you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No. I don't really like the yellow uniforms. But...
at the end of the day,
that's not the worst thing that they could do with it, though. I mean, I don't like the jerseys at all, but if it's just the jerseys that are goofy, the other stuff's at least enjoyable. I like that they bring like music artists from the city. I think it was Boston. I can't remember. It was one of the old bands. I don't know. I would listen to in like middle school or whatever, and they were like sitting in the stands and had their instruments. It's a very fun, entertaining thing to do that. Well, I mean, none of us got to experience in person. So, yeah, next time it comes around, hopefully you grab tickets and get to see it live.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I mean, I know I was a slow warmer to the Bulls, or I know you're representing Deetch, but I know when that first came out, I was a Debbie Downer on it, but it's slowly starting to, as the months go by, it's warming up to me. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see what because I'm one of those people that really enjoyed like the Field of Dreams game, and I wish they were able to incorporate that a little, especially since the Sox won. I was like, it would be great if they would have repeated bringing them back out there to Iowa. But I know OJ gives us a lot of shit because we, I don't want to say overvalue it, but we make more out of it than I feel like he thinks the majority of people of our fan base do with it. And I think he only says that just because of the Tim Anderson home run, like that moment.
How many times has OJ hit a fucking home run into a cornfield? That's the root of the problem right there. He has never went yard off of Zach Britton in a cornfield.
That's a valid point. That is a valid point.
Until he get his ass back on here.
He's done for. He's done for when he comes back.
Cooked. He's cooked.
But yeah, let's move on. I know Jay's been excited about this next topic, so let's get to it, Jay. Our bright and only rookie right now going on fire is truly regressed.
I'll smoke your ass right now. You know what? Fuck it. I'm drinking and I'm already warmed up. Do it. Do it.
So, folks, it was a nice month of baseball we've seen from Colson, which truly no one would have thought, we would have seen that from his promotion into the majors. But we all knew eventually he was going to have to face that first period of adjustments. And go ahead, Jay, since you got the stats up. Tell me how it's been looking lately.
You're full of shit. Because you're about to put out this hit piece. I told you, Deetch, he was going to try to do this. I told you he's going to put out this hit piece. And he's been waiting on it. It was a 2-week delay because Colson was getting a little bit of base hits last week. But now we've reached to where Gonzo can honestly say Colson Montgomery regressed. Now, in the two metrics that I'm looking at, okay, let's just get it out on the tape. My man is striking out at a 44% clip right now around that area.
Can you repeat that?
No. Now
okay.
What? No. The batting average has went down, obviously, with the Ks. But Gonzo, in totality, I am pleased with what Colson Montgomery showed me because you are going to paint a picture that he regressed to somebody that's trash. Me, an apologist, is just going to say he regressed to the mean. He's now leveling off.
What is the mean?
A high 700 OPS would probably, because I think he's better than a 220 hitter. I think he could give me 250, 260. But that strikeout rate got to come down, Gonzo. I'm not even going to argue with it. It has to come down. And I'm talking about by more than, it has to come down by about 12 to 14%.
And what's impressed me, or I don't say impressed me, but maybe what I can emphasize on is, or at least what's caught my eye is the off speed and side. I didn't think that would be what would ultimately get him caught in his, the swing metrics. So yeah, I mean, but
he's a taller left-handed bat that leaks out over the plate, and anytime you're leaking out over that outer third, you're susceptible to get tied up inside. Look at how many cue shots he's hit off of pitches that he's supposed to put on somebody's concourse. Like, you remember the home run he hit last week that was 452? If that ball was was up around his hands, that's probably a jam shot fly out to the second baseman. But since it was low and right into his happy place, he fucking destroyed it. So what he has to do is he has to get back to playing caveman baseball. Stay closed on everything. Stay closed on everything. Because those pitches that you're foul tipping into the mitt, you're going to start getting a bigger piece of it, and you're going to either foul it off to survive, or you're going to push that to the left side of the diamond. Anytime you got a left-handed hitter, especially at his age and where, with the defensive alignments, him going to, let's just say third base side to that short left field, there's a lot of base hits over there. Deetch, what have you seen with Colson, in your opinion?
I had honestly set my expectations very low when he got called up, just to not get burned, obviously. I think defensively he surprised me quite a bit, because a decent portion of the fan base seemed to act like he was this god-awful defender. I don't know. The bad plays, I mean, he's had a month and a half up, and in some offensive categories, he's getting close to taking over. I mean, even RBIs, I feel like, granted, this team's not very good, but he's catching players that have been here all year. The strikeouts are concerning, but I didn't think he necessarily would just finish out the year and just completely rake. But it was nice to finally have a prospect come up where you felt like, wow, this guy you felt like he was ready. After like a week or two into it, you were like, all right, I can buy into this a bit. But yeah, the strikeout things, I don't like when any of them have a high strikeout rate. He at least isn't necessarily swinging at like shit pitches. I know a lot of people like to complain that Tim Elko's not up here. When Tim Elko was up, that would drive me insane, because it just reminds me of the previous core, with your Eloys and all them just swinging at whatever. And so hopefully Colson figures it out. He's still young, and he did face adversity in the minors, so at least he didn't just coast here, and now it just falls on his face because he doesn't know how to handle it. So
I'm only making this face because your Chicago White Sox, Deetch, just put a fucking hurting on Spencer Strider in a short amount of time. Literally made him bite the curb at his own crib. 10 hits, Gonzo, 7 runs, all of them earned. Y'all go ahead. I just had to get that off my chest.
Yeah, you yelled that so loud that I think you blew your mic out, bro.
Oh, okay. All of them.
Justin, for me, it was the Deetch, you brought up Elko and
Don't put me in it. Don't put me in that shit.
Our last era, just the lack of plate discipline, and the fact that is now a priority is nice to see as part of your profile, right? Because I mean, getting on base, part of that is having that discipline to take a walk, especially with the lack of power that we've seen in recent time. But when you see, Colson, who's shown a bunch of slugs since he came up, I wasn't expecting him to go just on a spree, because he's damn near almost past, he almost caught up to, your Benintendi's and Roberts and them in a short amount of time. Wasn't expecting to see that. So I'm very curious to see, how he makes these adjustments in the next month of baseball that's left, going into the off season and working on it and coming back for spring training and see where he's actually at. Because a part of this is, he was so young of a prospect that when he did amazing in A, right? A, high A. Then when he hit into double A and triple A, that's when the collapse came with multiple levels.
But don't mention the word collapse without mentioning his injuries, because you're just trying to make it seem
but
like
again,
he was ass.
You're gonna bring up injury, and that's 1 year, right? This is a 1.5 year struggle, so it was beyond the back issue.
But it wasn't like he was he wasn't just hurt once.
But the point being that I was gonna say is, at such a young age, you have to make your adjustments and have success off of them, and we really didn't get to see that at AAA for as long as we should have. But again, this is a game of failure, so he hasn't truly had that, I won't say adversity, to overcome the to make those adjustments at a timely progression. where he's used to making those adjustments quickly to have success. So this is going to be interesting on, for me watching his growth on, the efficiency of those adjustments in a timely manner. Because once you get caught up, you're not able to make that adjustment, man. This is the ultimate game. This is the ultimate game of struggle, and I really hope the best for him, because it's not, especially when you have that pressure. Again, I bring up a guy like Vaughn, who had that pressure, has to make adjustments and continually grow in this game. And we've seen it from guys that got drafted high in this organization just bottom out. Unfortunately, most of those guys came from the last era, so I can't talk too much on this era, because Colson's one of the only ones so far that we've seen come up. And yeah, we're going to have to see how these guys are able to develop them at the big league level, because, in the past, he was still in the minors when he went to Arizona. So fortunately, Ryan Fuller's here, so hopefully we can see that sooner than later.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Tell me if what you think about this, Deetch. I just feel like with a guy like Colson's age and the fact that he's a larger guy having to play the middle infield, I just want him to get comfortable being an MLB, being an everyday ball player, rather than trying to hit these benchmark metrics and everything else. Because you got the entire next year calendar to hold him accountable for certain metrics, if you get what I'm saying. Not to say that he's completely absolved for bad play this year, but let me just ask this, Deetch. Are you holding Colson accountable more for what he's shown you this year, or are you going to give him a clean slate to give us the go for next year?
I think I speak not only just for Colson, but most of these guys. I'm just excited to see all these young guys take as many as bats as they can towards the end of the season. Unless Colson starts like messing around defensively, I really can't get mad at him or like have any sort of. But next season, it's like lockdown. I feel like the last couple of years, this team has come out flat for the most part, and that needs to be addressed next year. You cannot be even remotely competitive if you come out with your face flat on the ground for the first month and a half of the season. So it goes with him. I mean, he'll be off after the season. So whether he's killing the ball at the end of this season or is struggling next year, it needs to be you come to play in spring training, and that would be my expectation. Now, do you guys like him at shortstop, or do you prefer him at third?
I like him at shortstop.
Yeah, I prefer him at. And I know like a lot of people were hating on him at short, but I actually like watching him at the big leagues, since he's been up, because we've seen him in both positions. And for me, I like him more at shortstop than third base. But this is a big but. I would still love to see him even get some reps at first base. Not that I would take reps away from him at shortstop for the long run, because I still feel like you'd be getting him next season at shortstop. Allow him to prove himself there, or let him fail, at shortstop, because he's so athletic that if he does transition out of shortstop to, let's just say, first base, I mean, he's got so much athleticism that he could be a two-way player there at first base and be a Gold Glover. So, but again, like I've said this about some of, like our catcher tandem, like specifically Teal. I don't know why he never got reps at first base or the outfield and pro ball in our system. And like, if he's going to get any reps, he's going to have to make those adjustments and develop and grow at those positions at the big league level, which I feel that shouldn't be the case. Like, you should be able to get these reps when you start pro ball in the farm system. That way you can show that versatility and show that you can play at the pro level at those positions, than just allowing a guy to fail, right off the bat there. So unfortunately, I had that argument with someone on Facebook because someone brought up bringing up Corey Lee as a third catcher. And I'm like, why are you going to take reps away from Cuero and Teal?
Yeah, that's all
Um,
you're doing.
exactly. And they're like, oh, you can move him to first base. And I'm like, well, if that's the case, they would have done that. Who was the guy that they traded, the catcher, to the Tampa Bay earlier in the, a couple months?
Thice.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Dice. I was like, if that's the case, they would have done that when Dice was here, but they didn't. They didn't do that. Um, thanks, teacher. Thanks for the backup there, because I totally. Yeah, I know it was like
That's
a
because
month
you're getting old.
a month ago. That tells you how how these names have come in and out of this season so far. But it's a true point. Like we haven't seen them do that. They've kept them either at catcher or DH, and I feel like they're too young to have them truly get a lot of reps at DH. Like I think it takes a lot away from the potential for versatility, at least with Teal. Cuero, I can kind of
No,
understand.
Gonzo, I agree with you 1,000% because
Mhm.
there's a big gap in preparing to designate hit and preparing to catch or play the outfield or playing first base. Like, I don't know if the average fan understands what goes into being a Major League Baseball player from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Like, do you know how much prep work has to go into you just playing that 9 inning game? Like, I understand that people think that being a DH is easy. It's not. Because once you take a guy out of position and then you lessen his role, lessen the prep work that goes on, that can have a cataclysmic effect on who they are as a baseball player. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Rafael Devers is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen at third base, a place that you need to have leather. He is a worse DH than he is a third baseman. Let that sink in. Because there is no work being, you're not asking Rafael Devers to be a baseball player. You're just asking him to be a hitter. Like, not everybody could be David Ortiz. Not everybody could be Edgar Martinez. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody could be, I mean, I know Shohei is a unique situation because he prepares for other aspects of the game, pitching, whatever. But not everybody's going to be Shohei Ohtani. I think even though you want to give the kids reps at DH, I feel like you're destroying them because you're taking the preparation out of their game at the time of their career to where they should be in the books. They should be in the fucking meeting, that Wednesday meeting for those Friday pitchers. They should be there. But when you DH somebody, they don't think like that.
And not only that, but we've seen some of our greatest hitters in this organization. Frank Thomas, Jim Thome, some of the best to do it at DH. I've even blatantly said how difficult it is to do that day in and day out and stay focused in a position that's mandatory to be and to have the patience to do so. So yeah, I mean, I feel it's a valid point, and hopefully we do see some of these guys get some reps there at first base or even Teal, even left field. I would like to even see that too.
I do not want to see Till at first base. I need to see Kyle Till running around in the outfield somewhere, because people laugh at me, and I'll say this every fucking day I'm on a show. Kyle Till has a chance to be the best athlete on the Chicago White Sox, and I noticed just watching him run the bases, just watching Kyle Till go from second to home plate. I could see, oh, this guy has a motor, literally a motor. And you don't have to be overly fast. You don't have to be coordinated. But the fact that your catcher is getting a good jump, a good secondary off of second base, cutting the bag at third, it makes a real good, easy job for your third base coach waving in Kyle Teal, because you see him cutting the bags perfectly. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but look at the catching tandem the White Sox have put together with Cuero and Cuero and Teal. Deetch, I don't know if you one of the Cuero guys, but I absolutely love Cuero because he reminds me of Yomer Sanchez. They're the same guy, switch hitter, pain in the ass to deal with on defense and offense. Like, those are the type of baseball players you need. I swear to God on my life, and I'm about to blow a gasket right now. You people let Pedro Gaffal lie to me and say he's preparing every night to kick their ass. He lied to me because that's the team that Will Venable prepares the White Sox every night to kick somebody's ass. We just put 10 fucking hits on Strider, a healthy Strider.
True.
That starts with y'all boys. Teal, Quiro.
No, that's true.
I have to say too, I guess I lean more towards Teal getting reps in the outfield because I was going to point this out. Is there anyone other than Teal that you would give reps in the outfield that is not a normal outfielder at this point that's currently on the major league roster? Because I feel like we have a ton of infield depth, and like the more we keep talking about like adding more people who can play first base, that's kind of what screwed us somewhat in the last
Everybody was
rebuild.
first base.
But so everyone could play first base, and then you're trying to figure out how to get guys who shouldn't be in the outfield, and so is there like this team I feel overall has more athletic built type players where I could see a few of them. Even Colson, you could technically try to throw out there if you really wanted to. I wouldn't, but is there anyone other than Teal?
In a situation you need Colson Montgomery to play right field for 20 games, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not yet. I mean, it was crazy because you saw Brooks Baldwin spend a lot of time in the system at second base, and that's where the focus was. And then next thing you know, they shift him to center field. Depending on how this offseason goes with Robert, you might have to start that off in 2026. Baldwin in center. Hopefully, in a couple of years from now, you'll see Fosk get up here, and hopefully he's able to take over center field, because up until this past draft, that was a position, center field and first base, there wasn't any depth there. So the fact that, and truly a shortstop too, because again, before the draft, that was before we saw anything of Colson, and they've shored that up in one draft at least for short and center field. First base still a priority. And unfortunately, we see Jacob Gonzalez get promoted, but there's a lot of talk about, I'm not sure if you guys seen Eldridge, Bryce Eldridge, the talk lately of him, but he actually came a pick right after Jacob Gonzalez. So again, that was 3 drafts ago, but that's a point there for another time, because Jay's looking at me like I'm going to shut up about
because
recent drafts.
I'm going to let you piss me off. So go ahead.
The do-overs again, right? You go back to Jacob. We go back to. Don't get me wrong, I like Hagen Smith, but again, I always said go with the bat. You can't pass up on 5-tool potential, and I tweeted that out a month before that draft. I can go back to that too, because I said either take Connor Griffin, or if you are going to take an arm, Chase Burns, but that's irrelevant because Chase went 2 picks before. But who was there? Connor Griffin was there. Who else was there? JJ Weatherholt was there, who Justin remembers. We had a pre-draft show, and JJ was getting a lot of love. So 2 guys that were there, and we went with the safe option, which again, that just matches the Sox.
That was probably one of the few times you'll have me and Gonzo agree. We both wanted Connor Griffin.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. We talked a lot about Colson, Deetch. What is there not on this roster right now, or is there any emphasis you want to put on how things wrap up the next month? Like, what players are you truly interested in seeing here on the south side?
I think you pointed out earlier the two pitchers who are, was it Rule 5 draft eligible?
Yep.
You might as well just bring them up for the sake of seeing what you have there. I want them to really lock in Grant Taylor as like you are closing games, just to see how that goes for the remainder of the year. I don't think they're going to transition him to a starter next year. So if you can at least get some momentum where he's in his groove ending this season, that obviously will be beneficial next year. Because looking at the bullpen now, especially if like Paulette comes up and does well, they have enough pieces there where you're not looking to just sign a bunch of dumpster dives like we have the previous few years where some work, some don't, but you can at least see a few pieces here where you're like, okay, you can kind of, it won't just be like, we don't know who the closer, what anyone's roles are, like it has been. Position wise, do you really think anyone else is going to even get called up at this point?
I threw it out there that you could see Jacob. I think he'd be probably the only bat.
What about a Brian Ramos return?
That's another one. Yep. Instead of Rojas, that'd be nice.
Yeah, especially when whatever you call up in September this year, you could start off the fresh calendar with next year.
Yeah.
And just adjust accordingly. That way, if you got to move off of somebody, they got enough major league time on their belt to get a return for.
So before I ask Deetch, I want him to clarify on something real quick, but just to throw out there for our audience, a lot of the talk about this eligibility with the Rule 5 was, I believe it was because they wanted to protect, the rookie eligibility of that Rule 5. So to do so, they would have to wait until after August 16th, which just previously passed by. So they are now protected, and you need them to be on the roster for less than 45 days. So both things match. So technically, from now till the beginning of September, they can bring them up. So, and they're protected. So, but to do so, Deetch, there's two of them. Tanner McDougal, the righty sensation that has been, him and Opar have gone off this year. Peyton Platt looking nice too. Solid reliever. Could be a closer too with the stuff he has. From look at the 40 Deetch and go ahead and pop it up if you need to. Who would you either? I don't think there's many options left, but if there's anyone you would DFA or to do so, who are two names would you say goodbye to? I want to begin this off because this is where things get a little interesting. Because the 40 is very messy.
I'm pulling that up right now to take a look.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, Jay. Look it up too, man.
No, don't put me in it. I don't want nobody to leave.
I want Jay to answer that too, because it's gonna get interesting. Like for me, I gotta look at it again too, because after the moves today, I know Deetch brought up them shifting Burke up a little, with that move and Cannon. And we saw, Perez coming back, so they're doing a little shuffling dicing. But I wouldn't mind seeing, and people can argue with me, but I don't think there's much left of a guy like Steven Wilson. He's a 30-year-old vet. I would rather them protect Peyton Platt than a guy that, won't be here. So, but there's some other names too on that list that you can.
Yeah, like Brandon, like guys like Brandon Isert, Cam Boozer, they got to go. That's debris. Mm-hmm. And especially when you have them in lowest of leverage, you can easily slide a young bull in there and just.
I gotta look how many lefties are in the pen right now.
1, 2. You have Tyler Gilbert too.
1, 2, 3, including Martin Perez.
So basically 2.
Yeah. But still, we don't know how they're going to use Martin Perez, because is he going to be stretched out for by the time, let's just say, September comes? He's probably only getting like 2 or 3 starts, or he's going to get over probably about 95 pitches to work with.
Mhm.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, the bullpen is where you got most of the debris because your value and what Chris Getz has been using. I mean, obviously we've seen the Adrian Hauser, the Fetty trades, but where we're going to try to make some money and make some hay is with the position slots. So get that debris off of your roster on the pitching side to make sure that these guys accumulate enough at bats to where you can fetch a return for in the summertime. Because let me tell you something. Y'all lucky that Michael A. Taylor ain't 30 years old. Or I would have got Shohei Ohtani for him at the deadline. Y'all lucky he's a little bit old. I want to see some more Winkman Gonzalez too. I need to see more. And we're coming up on that time period, Gonzo, to where Iriarte got to get his second cup of coffee.
Yep.
He's a Sagittarius, by the way. The White Sox I think they only got one Sagittarius on the 40-man roster. Yeah, he's the only Sagittarius on the 40-man roster.
And what's
Nope,
nice,
Sean Burke.
What's nice is Will Kement is on the 40.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
So is Iriarte.
Yep.
I miss Kai Bush. I feel like it's been a while since we heard that name.
But you brought something up, Deetch. Justin, let's have this conversation, right?
Oh,
Grant
boy.
Taylor. We gotta stop playing games, right? Can we come to
Oh,
agreement on
shit.
that? Stop playing games. Pick a
You
role.
got to be more
Pick a role.
specific.
Pick a role. Are you gonna keep him in high leverage, or are you gonna start building innings up a little bit with spot starts? I need to
leverage.
know because I get tired of him being in the 7th inning one day and starting a game the next. And it's not even just starting a game. You know, does he go 1 innings or does he go 3 innings? Like, we've seen a little bit of everything with Grant Taylor. Not that that's a bad thing because he's such a special talent of an arm. But like we talked about previously, preparation, week in and week out. It's difference between, being a starter and being in a bullpen. And even as a bullpen arm, are you, just a high leverage guy? Are you a middle relief? What are you? And I know they're being careful with his innings, but if that's the case, then let's just keep him as a closer or high leverage, or right in from the 7th through the 9th.
The problem is, Gonzo, the White Sox aren't good enough to put Grant Taylor in enough high leverage situations. I'm gonna give you a prime example. The Rockies got 2 super talented arms in Victor Vodnik and Seth Halverson. The problem is the Rockies don't have a lead enough to unlock them. So usually anytime they come into the game, it's low to medium leverage. That's not going to work because they'll never have their feet to the fire.
But the Sox have been in a lot of tight ball games this season.
Yeah,
they are playing competitive baseball. It is close games normally.
Yeah, but at the same time, Gonzo, how many times will Grant Taylor be in position to get a save?
Probably 2 times a week.
If we're fucking lucky. Because just because it's a close,
but that's like every closer in the game right now. They're only getting about 2 a week.
But think about this, Gonzo. Okay, let's go down the list. For example, who has more chances to close a fucking baseball game? David Bednar for the Pirates or Grant Taylor? Because I know he's with the Yankees right now. But David Bednar with the Pirates, who was a less competitive team, had more save opportunities than Grant Taylor.
A lot of blown save opportunities too.
Nah, don't do that. Nope.
A lot of pass balls to the backstop.
Nope.
And losing games.
Bednar had a sub-3 ERA.
I've seen that twice, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
He's blowing 2 games, throwing balls to the backstop.
My overall point is I don't think the White Sox are good enough to put a young closer in high leverage and volume to where he's racking up a volume of saves.
If that's the case, you're going to be waiting for a while, buddy.
No, I'm not.
I just don't know that the bouncing back and forth like everyone seems to be concerned about him getting hurt or him like risking injury. I can't imagine having to prep for, okay, you're going to throw 3 innings to start this game, and then 2 days later, you're going to throw the 9th inning. That has to mess with your arm, or I mean the recovery. And it seems hard where you'd be able to get a consistent healing like between outings without getting hurt. So that's my concern with the whole thing is pick a route. I don't care which one you do, but this back and forth is not working for me at least.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. That's part of the preparation that I brought up, but you took it a step forward, and I appreciate that because that right there, Jay, is clarity, my friend. Jay, what are you doing, man? Socks are up right now. You look like you're just traumatized.
Yeah, well, I am traumatized. I am. Because I'm excited about the White Sox, number one. But I'm honestly thinking about this Grant Taylor situation.
Mm-hmm.
Hagen Smith, Noah Schultz, right? Those are the heir apparents to the rotation. Who else? That's it.
Which we didn't even talk about that. Well, I mean, we talked about it with guests before last 2 episodes, but we ourselves haven't got to that in this episode with people bringing up the regression of Schultz and Hagen Smith, all because of Bannister incorporating a 3-pitch mix to their arsenal. And next thing we know, shockingly, we have command issues because they're not used to that 3rd pitch in their arsenal and the usage of it, which it is different. Granted, when, Smith to begin his pro career with that 2-pitch mix, he was dominant, right? Same thing with Schultz through A and AA, dominant with 2 pitches. But like with what Nate, I'm not sure, Deetch, if you saw that when we had Nate Rasmussen on, but he talked about the importance of developing that 3rd pitch to get to the big leagues, and he was trying to shimmer down this hoo-ha, if you want to call it, of people saying, that they're regressing, but end of the day, they're doing what they have to do to get to the big leagues and to succeed in the big leagues with 3-pitch mix. Again, Crochet had to do it too. He was dominant with the slider and that velocity of the fastball, but what happened when he put that cutter onto the plate, totally changed his arsenal. And now he's a Cy Young thrower right now.
Of course, Lenine Sosa just went deep.
Beautiful. We even talk about Lenine. That's another guy. Is he gonna be your everyday player going forward, or is he a guy that is just a fill-in role player? He's and that's even if he's a role player. He's getting older, and you got a lot of younger guys coming through the system.
What do you mean he's getting older? He's 26.
Yeah, and next thing you know, he's gonna be 29 when we're competing. So
okay. Hold it right there. Right there.
Yeah.
17 home runs, 53 RBIs with probably a 760 OPS. That's where he stands right now after he touches home plate. Do you think Lenine Sosa could have an 800 OPS in a White Sox uniform? Over 460 at-bats or so.
No.
Why?
Because he hasn't done it. This is his first time doing it.
Yeah, but still, like, I
don't think he's going to repeat. I don't think this is, you brought up earlier in the show, the mean, regression to the mean, right? That's not his mean.
So
you're
saying there's no chance that Lenine Sosa, a guy that's going to hit 20 home runs this year, has a chance to have an 800 OPS?
I don't think he repeats it.
So in 450 at-bats next year, where y'all got Lenine Sosa at home runs? Because right now, hold on, wait, let me count them. And 390.
You didn't say just home runs, you said OPS.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying in 389 at-bats right now, he's at a 756.
Yeah, so he hasn't even hit 800.
Yeah, but he can.
But he hasn't showed it.
What is he showing you now?
750 OPS. Oh, Jay, I love you, but no. The answer is no, my friend.
Okay.
Deetch,
cool.
I'll let you answer because he doesn't want me to answer that one.
I don't.
I've honestly been trying to be a little bit more optimistic. I used to really
Mm-hmm.
dislike Guillen Sosa, but the bat obviously has awoken and seems to play. I think what I have a hard time weighing out is do you view him as an asset where you try and flip him because his value may be a little bit higher than it was, or can he figure it out in the field? Because I really have no issue with most of his at bats. It's just the stupid plays in the field. Because I don't see him as like, you don't keep Sosa to just DH. I just don't see that either.
Well, and that's the thing, Deetch. The Cubs couldn't find a position for Christopher Morel. Now, the White Sox, they don't really have the sense of urgency to do something like that. I'm pretty sure you get more value with letting Guillen Sosa ride out. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep him on the roster because, number one, he can play multiple positions. And number two, outside of Luis Robert, he's some of the only right-handed slug that you got in the lineup right now. So I think he's worth more to you on the roster than what he can bring outside of the roster via trade. That's just me right now.
This is what they haven't done or been able to do frequently, and it's trade them at their highest
Dude, you
value.
hate my Sox, bro.
No, we're just we're trying to wrap up a rebuild. Well, not wrap it up, but we're getting near that stage. So you guys start playing the wise ball. Because unfortunately we got one more season before the strike in 27. I don't see them spending money until after the strike because they're trying to finalize a new stadium, and the money that goes into that is outrageous, but that's what the prioritization is at right now. And yeah, so I'm just thinking about this at the year 2028 going forward. You know, like I brought up a couple of minutes ago, he's what you said, 26, and then he's going to be what, 28, 29 before I think we'll actually start seeing that. I don't want to say 500 ball, but like you know, once we start seeing them in near competition again, that's where he's going to be at, and he's getting close to 30 before we start seeing them even probably winning a division. So trade him while the value is high, and hopefully we don't have to do that for too much longer, right? Or at least trading all of these, you know, the value out of here because the value should be coming up, right? You got your Bonnemer, Montgomerys, Carlsons, Bausk, Wolkow, name all these bats coming through the system. They'll be here in the next 2 to 3 years. So we got a lot of replacement players on the roster that are going to be replaced. So things are about to get interesting. And Jay, it's that time of the show where it is picks to clicks. We have a guest with us, so I allow him to go too at the end. But you won pick to click. Yeah, that was a good reaction. Okay, I thought you were gonna give me something else. All right, Jay, you won with Miguel Vargas. Miguel's off the board.
He's
Take
2
it
for
away.
3 today. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been waiting probably about a month to pick this guy. You're gonna have to give me Cuero.
Cuero. Interesting. You surprised me with that one, brother.
You're gonna have to give me. All right. First it was the Bananas. Now you're calling me brother, right? Deetch, what do you mean? What do you think he means by brother?
His buddy.
Yeah, sure. You're part of the problem.
Oh, I love to see it. Love to see it. All right. You
know.
know what, Jay? You make me a believer. I'm going Sosa.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, wait. Let me spend 5 to 7 minutes telling everybody that I don't believe that he could hit above an 800 OPS. But let me see if I could get a pick to click out of his ass.
No other way to do it.
Gotta love it.
Deetch, I don't know if you win who we're going to give it to. If it's going to be, we'll give it to Slavko because we need to get Slavko on the board. So you're picking for Slavko for tonight. So Deetch, give me your best of hopes here because Slavko needs to get on the board this season.
You're doing the pick to click for tonight?
For the week.
For the week.
So you got to
for the
you
week.
got to pick the
Okay.
player that you think's going to have the best week.
You could do tonight too, since we're already into the fucking.
Your mean Mercedes is off the board.
What inning are we in? I didn't even look at the game yet.
I'll go with Robert. I think Robert's going to get hot.
There we go. Good job, Slav. All right.
What the fuck? How am I losing?
Picks to click are as shown. We've got Jay with Vargas off the board. He goes with Cuero. I'm going to go Sosa. Slavko / Deetch goes with Robert. Gentlemen, we are at that part of the night. We're about to wrap up. Shout out time. Deetch, give us a good shout out.
A good shout out of just what? Random person on White Sox Twitter?
You know
Oh,
what?
do you
You
have
go
any
last.
people
You
you
go.
wanna shout
Jay, start off shout outs. He'll
Okay,
catch
I'll
up.
tell you what. First shout out I got to give to you, Deetch. It was a fucking pleasure having you join. Hopefully this is not the last time. But I'm going to be honest with you, man, and I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm giving a shout out to my Chicago White Sox because we had a fucking tall task this evening going against Spencer Strider down in Truist. And you know what? They literally put belt to ass and bat to ball. 10 hits, 7 earned on the Braves' best pitcher. Like, literally, people don't know how hard it is to fucking literally beat his brains out in Truist. And what the White Sox did today, I'm content. I'm gonna go to sleep happy. I gotta give a shout out to Gonzo because he's had an outstanding season on the Blackout. I mean, we all did OJ, fucking Slavko, but you, Gonzo, you was on. I enjoyed every fucking time we got on this mic, and I honestly believe that it's only going to get better and better. So to make a long story short, I got to give a shout out to Deetch and Gonzo because it's fucking Monday night in a thunderstorm in Chicago, and I'm having the time of my life because of y'all Chicago White Sox and y'all sports banter. So thank you for being the highlight of my week.
Go ahead, Deetch.
Well, thank you both. So shout out to both of you for having me on. I know we've talked about it before, and I've obviously watched the show a ton. So it was good to talk some ball with you. And then the drainage pipes in the Chicagoland area, shout out to them for the rain they're about to take. And
beautiful sponsorship right there.
Yeah, I'll get the Sox starter today, Gomez. I mean, I'll give it to him. That's 2 solid outings in a row. Obviously, he just gave up a 2-run home run, but hey, less earned runs than most of our other starting pitchers, so we'll take it.
That's why he's going to be DFA'd next week, and
You're
McDougal's
sick,
going to
fuck.
be up. That was it, Deetch? That was it? I sorry, I cut you off there.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to shout out my fiance. She just started vet school this week at Michigan State. I just love it, man. She's living the best life right now, and I need to get back to the Midwest shortly. I got news coming next week on that. Shout out Slavko. He had some big news this weekend. Big news. I don't want to shout the big news public yet because he hasn't done so yet.
It's on his social. Check
Did
Instagram, Grandpa.
Did I check? I didn't check Instagram today. I'm sorry. I still want him to say it. He's went through a lot last year.
I'm so excited.
I know. Well, but all right, we'll allow him to break when he comes on next. And yes, Deetch, shout out to you, brother. You reached out to me. I think it was last year, and I've been procrastinating on several people that need to get, on the show because we've been busy. So it was nice having you on. I know you guys are starting to kill it too. This is the nice sandbox we have of White Sox Twitter, to share content, and glad to see you having success over on your side of it too. For our viewers and that want to, tune into Deetch, he is of the Southside Boys podcast. You can find them on Twitter. Anywhere else, Deetch, besides Twitter?
Yeah, we're on YouTube, and then we also have, I think, an Instagram account as well. They're all at Southside Boys. If you can't find it, some of them have at 23 at the end of it. But yeah, no. And we do go live once a week on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, I love it. And thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, pound that share, hit the follow for Colson to have a resurgence again. Thank you for watching The Blackout.